Mike. How you doing, Zenda? How are you?
I tell you what, there's nothing quite like a plate of your favourite grub. Our favourite tucker feeds our bodies and souls.
Well, thank you.
That's okay.
So, in this series, I'm celebrating the dishes closest to all our hearts.
Lovely.
I've spoken to some fellow chefs to ask them what dishes they love the most.
Can you do it without licking your lips?
Oh, I love a sugary lip. That's a lovely bit of shaking going on. The caramel, the chocolate. You can see it whilst it's your husband's favourite.
I've had a few famous faces round cooking up some of the most wonderful recipes.
I like the little move you have right
Oh, sister.
It's cinnamon, it's sugary, just like you.
Olly Smith has a few tipples straight from his drinks cabinet.
Oh, that has got my tail feathers bristling.
And I've been doing some culinary reminiscing of my own, cooking up some of the most treasured recipes I've collected over the years. The result is a collection of wonderful recipes from around the world that I know are going to inspire you to get into your own kitchens to cook up and spruce up some of your old favourites.
Welcome to the food we love. Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside. Oh, yes, I do like to be beside the sea. Oh, got some wonderful memories of going off to the beach, building sandcastles with the kids, and then putting your bum on the pebbles and eating some fish and chips. Maybe a kiss me quick, know what I'm talking about? We've got some wonderful recipes today, all associated with being beside the seaside.
Bake-Off winner Candice Brown is making delicious toffee apple-filled doughnuts. Ooh, as long as you don't pass the donkey.
No one wants that smell in their kitchen. If you've got that, then you do something wrong.
My mate comedian Alan Davies is stopping by for a chat. A little bit of pepper.
Oh, I like that action.
Go and can't help it, you know.
If you didn't have the left arm out, would you fall down?
I don't.
Olly Smith has some vino, perfect for sipping at the seashore.
So if you buy the Seaside and you've got your best frock on, that's what you want in your glass.
And I have the ultimate seaside sundae with honeycomb ice cream, pecans and butterscotch sauce.
But first, a taste of the Caribbean seaside with my butternut chickpea roti and spicy yoghurt sauce. Now, this is really, really easy to do. It's all about the lovely folds that happen, so it kind of gives that a lovely aeration in the bread, makes it a little bit more sort of flaky, if you like. First, you take your flour, add some baking powder to it. There you go. Just stir that through a little bit with your finger. A touch of salt. And then you can see I've already created that a little bit of a well. And then we're just going to add some water to that. This reminds me of watching my mum in the kitchen when I think of these rotis. Just rubbing it through like that. Just moisten it up a little bit. It's amazing, eh? The old human food processor. Ooh. A little bit more water. And you see, you gradually add the water. It's like any pastry that you're making. Slowly, slowly, slowly add it till it all starts to come together. And when it comes together, you'll know about it. It will just bind to your fingers. There you go. And there we have it. Look at that. That lovely, soft, pliable dough. Always have a little bit of flour on the side there, just to assist you so it doesn't stick too much. And pop that in the fridge for half an hour, a little bit longer. And then we can really get to cooking it and eventually filling it. Now, I've already started to cook down my onions there, and what we wanted them to do is to really cook down and soften up. It's going to take about 3 or 4 minutes. Look at that. And sort of slightly glistening there. And to that, I'm going to add a Scotch bonnet pepper, just half actually, not a whole one. And I'm just going to chop that up, and I'm going to pop that into our pan with the onion. OK, I've got a couple of cloves of garlic. I'm just going to grate those into my pan. Lovely. Now, oh, the flavour, the smell. I've got to say, you've got these lovely street vendors when you're walking along the beach. You pick up your lovely roti, filled with your butternut squash or your pumpkin or your fish or your chicken, and it's in a wrap, and you take that off to the beach and you sit down there with your ice cold beer, man, and you know what I mean? You just sit down there and enjoy yourself. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to transfer that, take those out, okay? Then we can get on with our butternut squash. Just cutting that. I'm cutting that into quite sort of chunky pieces. Let me show you. Look at this. You want to kind of be able to bite into it and say, yeah, man, you can feel it. So we don't want to overcook it. There we are. Just put a little bit of oil into my pan. That's it, beautiful. In with your butternut squash, and then we're going to introduce some flavour into it. I've got some turmeric going in there. Just sprinkle that in there like that. That will toast along with the butternut squash. We've also got some curry powder there. Yeah, man, throw it in there, throw it in there. And I've also got some cumin in here. Cumin is king, really, isn't it? Just imparts such a wonderful flavour. Just going to keep a little bit of that back. Just a touch more oil going in there. You know, you take some of those lovely herbs and spices and put them into your pan, then it just transfers you back there, isn't it, eh? I'm talking about being on the beach. Here we go. Chickpeas. I've got my chickpeas. I'm going to take those and I'm going to pop them into my pan. Touch of water going in there. That's cooking down now. Remember, we're going to reintroduce the onions and the garlic. All of that now is going back in there. That's it. Very, very simple. And look how quickly that water has evaporated. That's dropped right off of there. Now, what about some other flavours that we associate with the Caribbean? Here they are. I've got some coconut milk. Yeah, there you go. A little bit of sugar. And what I've got here is a little bit of fresh thyme. That's it, a little bit of fresh thyme going in there. There you go. Touch more water. Allow that to cook down. Now, once your roti has rested a bit there, yeah, we'll just cut that up there like that. That'll be fine for now. What we're going to do, you see that? Just giving that a little bit of a pat there. I'm just going to give that a bit of a roll. Now, this is the secret of this. We're just going to take some butter, be quite liberal, look at that. And I'm just kind of putting that butter on there like that, okay? Folding that over again, and then turning it into itself. And that's the idea of the roti. Gives it that lovely, lovely richness. It's a bit like puff pastry. You know, we talk about puff pastry and the different layers and it puffs up. Well, exactly what goes on here. Now I'm going to pop that into our pan. Okay, let's turn this over now, this little bubby. There you go. Just brush that with a little bit more butter. Oh, look at that. All right, then. Let's have a look here. Look at what we've got here. The most wonderful curry that's cooked down. You can see that the butternut squash has still got a bit of a bite to it. There you go. Roti's cooked. Oh, lovely. Look at that. Now, what about finishing off our curry here now? Bit of fresh lime juice going in there. Just wouldn't be the same without a good old bit of fresh lime juice going in. There you go. The coriander. Let's take a touch of that. Don't be frightened of the stalk, guys. Remember that. I always say, don't be frightened of the stalk. And then I'm just going to take some of that and I'm just going to leave that right in the centre there. You can see that. Look at those lovely, beautiful, big pieces of butternut squash there that are just looking absolutely inviting. And what I'm going to serve that with is my hot yoghurt sauce. That's literally a bit of hot pepper into the yoghurt, a little bit of lime juice, a few herbs, whatever herbs you've got knocking around, maybe even a little bit of mint. That will give it an extra special kick. Chilies, just a few of those, and a few bits of the fresh coriander. How about that? My Caribbean butternut and chickpea roti with a hot yoghurt sauce. go on, get down to the beach and have a good old nibble. Whoa, that takes me back. All I need now is a nice cool rum punch. Candice has taken inspiration from the beachside fun fair for her toffee apple-filled doughnuts. I think it's really healthy because I think what it does is just makes you feel good, and the good fill factor is one of the most important things.
Absolutely, and a little bit of what you fancy is good for you.
I know, absolutely. And I'll be making Alan Davies a twist on the traditional with crispy fish cakes, garden pea crush and sweet potato wedges.
What on earth is panko?
Panko is... Exactly.
That sounds like an anagram or something made up.
And my honeycomb ice cream sundae with butterscotch sauce. Naughty. Now, we've taken a trip to the seaside today, yeah? All those wonderful dishes inspired by visits to the beach. I made a classic Caribbean pumpkin and chickpea roti with spicy yoghurt sauce. A bit later, I'll be showing you how to make honeycomb for my epic ice cream sundae. Hey guys, time to put your lippy on because in my kitchen today is the wonderful Candice Brown.
Hello, where's your lippy?
Oh, I should have put some. I would have put some on for you, you know.
I'm sure I've got a spare one.
Who was that? Who inspired? Was that Nan, Mum, someone
Mum. Well, Mum and Dad run pubs, and my mum was like the proper landlady, and she always said to me, "Whatever you do, Candice, don't ever underdress."
Yeah.
So it was always
It's better to be overdressed
on.
than under, isn't it?
Yeah, always.
Oh, I wonder,
always.
is she still stylish? She's still got that kind of swagger?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely, loads of gold and stuff. She has toned it down a little bit,
Oh,
but back in the day it was like gold and lipstick and perm and stiletto. So I've got the stilettos, I've got a little bit of gold, but yeah,
Oh,
the
fantastic!
Lipstick, so.
Oh, lovely. And you are so stylish when you sort of cook and bake and do something like that. What are you doing for us today?
Well, so when I think about trips to the seaside, I kind of think about all things like rock and those shops where you go and get the rock and you get those bright red dummies or those lollipops or toffee apples, and then also walking past and getting that smell of the donuts. I thought I'd combine the two.
As long as you don't pass the donkey.
I want that, no, not today. No one wants that smell in their kitchen. If you've got that, then you do something wrong.
Oh, lovely.
So I'm not doing donkey donuts.
Yeah, OK. What are we doing then?
We are doing toffee apple donuts. Nice spice, sort of appley, cinnamon filling with some lovely smooth toffee and then gorgeous plump big donuts.
Inspire us. What do you have to do? How do we create these?
Starting with the dough, because obviously dough needs to prove. So first things first, we have got our flour in the bowl. And I'm just going to lift this up and I'm going to make a tiny little well. OK?
OK.
So I've just put my salt on one side, so it's about 10 grams there, and then I'm just going to pop in some golden caster sugar on that same side as well.
OK.
Now, really, really important is we want about 10 grams of yeast, and that needs to go on the opposite side to the salt.
OK, why is that then?
Just
Candice,
because if the salt goes onto the yeast, it kills it. So the yeast becomes active with warm milk.
Yeah.
This is where it should be more scientific people would go really scientific-y, and I'm just like, no, the salt will batter the yeast and kill it.
Yeah, there you go.
So then we're going to pop in some lemon zest. I mean, you can literally use anything you want, really.
Great. And do you do lots of different flavours this? Because, you know, running a pub, you must have an opportunity to kind of say to your clients all the time, hey, we've got this on the dessert menu tonight or something else.
Yes, I mean, we have our staples and we have our pub puddings, which they really, really love and they really enjoy. And if they're not on there, things like sticky toffee and the brownies, if they're not on there, then people go, where's the sticky toffee or cornflake tart? People ask for things like that. But unknowingly, the customers are recipe testers for me. So if there's a special, it's normally because I'm testing a recipe, and if they're all right and none of them die because it's been horrible, then I'm like, yeah, that one can go in the book. It's
Fantastic.
fine. That one can go in.
OK.
So I've just dropped my egg into the well. OK, then I've got some warm whole milk. We want this to be rich. We want it to be a rich dough. So whole milk, warm because
Sort of baby warm type thing?
Yeah, so my nan always used to say like blood warm. So if you put your finger in, you can't really feel it because it's the same temperature as your blood. Unless you're cold-blooded.
I bet it was your nan who taught you a lot about food and stuff. She has a very simple way of doing it, and they're great, aren't they, people like that?
The best way. So literally, with the dough hook, nice and slow to begin with, and I've popped in some really soft butter. So some people might go, nope, you're supposed to add that after it's all come together, but I just whack it all in together and it works fine.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
So
Lovely.
literally, just get the dough hook going. So on a low speed, first of all, as you can see, it brings the flour in slowly. So about 8 minutes, it will go really, really lovely and smooth.
Yeah.
And that's when I would turn it out and have a really good knead of it.
And you've got one made already here, haven't you?
I have, because
Okay,
I'm that
no, that's
organised.
fine. You can switch that off and get on with it.
I am that organised. So that would normally go, and then you would lightly grease a bowl, pop it in there, cover it, put it in a warm place for, I don't know, an hour to 2 hours until it's doubled in size.
Because the yeast in there, I forgot, yeah.
It's going to grow.
Yeah.
It's going to grow.
Okay.
Okay, so you can
lovely.
see it's all risen. It's just lovely, and you've got kind of those stretchy, gorgeous bits.
Look at that,
So
yeah.
when it comes out, I just fold it over itself, fold
Yeah.
it in and over itself a couple of times. And that's just, we say about knocking the air out, so you want to knock it back a little bit. So what I've done is I've shaped them. I mean, there are a couple of different sizes, but that's fine. You can do smaller ones, bigger ones, but you want to roll them round, tuck in all the bottom in so you get some nice round balls. And then what you do, you're going for your second proof.
Okay.
So we want them to grow again. So you pop them on a baking tray with some space in between, and you can see these have just been covered with some oiled cling film because that stops them from sticking to the cling film.
Yeah, lovely.
Okay.
Oh, look at those, wonderful.
I know, so they're puffy and they're gorgeous. Right, so what I've got here is I've got my little mini deep fat fryer. You can, of course, do this in a saucepan at home. Obviously, just be really, really careful. You want to set it to about 150 degrees. So handle them really, really gently.
Look at that.
And you're just going to pop them in
Yeah.
to the fryer. So
Okay.
these will bubble away for about 3 minutes. Flip them over on the other side. So these were made earlier, and you can see they are risen and they are puffy and gorgeous. They've been rolled in sugar, so let them cool slightly.
Yeah.
But you can see these have been frying away, and you just very, very carefully just flip those over, and you can see how beautiful and golden they are.
Wow.
Oh, that smell, it's literally like being back at the seaside.
It does.
So just talking very quickly about the toffee sauce, foolproof, easy peasy. So 120 grams of light brown sugar, 120 grams of butter. Pop it in a saucepan, let the sugar dissolve, turn it up, let it all bubble away until it's frothy.
Okay.
Take it off the heat and stir in 120 mils of double cream. Let it cool, and then you've got beautiful, thick toffee sauce. Then, of course, the apples. So to counteract that real sweetness. I love, and I try and use Bramley apples, so I'm more of a cooking apple to get that little bit of tang that kind of makes your face go.
Yeah, it's slightly citrusy.
Yeah.
It pulps down so much easier than the other
Beautifully,
apples.
yeah.
Bramley's are special, yeah.
Really, really lovely. Peel, core, little chunks, little bit of cinnamon, touch of butter, a little bit of water if needed, in a saucepan, just cook it down. You don't want baby food mush. We want a little bit of texture to it. Okay, so chopstick, I find this is the easiest way. Get your chopstick in and give it a good wiggle, because what you want is you want to create a little hole. So we've got a piping bag, put a bit of that apple. Oh my God, it smells so good.
Yeah, you're right there, babe.
There we go. So just squeezing that in, and I sometimes think it's quite nice just to have a little bit.
Just protruding a
Yeah,
little bit.
a little bit protruding, so you can kind of see what you're going to
getting.
get. Yeah,
Wow, that's naughty.
it is naughty.
How's your other donuts? Can they come out now?
Oh yeah, perfect. There it is. So then you would literally let them cool a little bit more, and then you just toss them in your sugar.
Oh, yeah, so clever.
I'm going to do a second one because obviously if
yeah.
someone else is going to eat one, then I'm going to need to eat one as well. So.
Candice, I think it's really healthy because I think what it does, it just makes you feel good, and the good feel factor is one of the most important
Absolutely.
things.
A little bit of what you fancy is good
Yeah.
for you.
I know, absolutely.
is.
Wow, Candice, well, these look really scrumptious. Shall we dive in?
Yeah, I think I'm going to roll my sleeves up for this.
Look at that, all that apple and caramel oozing out
I mean,
there.
there's no other way to do it, really, is there? Oh, yeah. Can you do it without licking your lips?
I love a sugary lip. Absolutely great. Hey, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much for sharing your
so
donut
welcome.
recipe with us. Hey, and there's more Seaside treats to come. Forget traditional fish and chips. I'm making Alan Davies some crispy fish cakes served with sweet potato wedges.
I love what you've done with these peas.
Isn't it amazing?
That chili's really working for me.
I sound like Private Godfrey in Dad's
Oh,
Army.
spicing up Davies' life. Olly Smith has some delicious wines.
Oh, that's got my taste buds kite surfing.
And I'm making my wicked honeycomb ice cream sundae. Oh. Now we've got to put chocolate in there. Do you ever use different types of fruit in there too?
Rhubarb and custard.
Oh. Please welcome actor, comedian and dad. It's the wonderful Alan Davies.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
High five, Al.
High five.
Yeah.
Distant elbows.
What's it like for you when you go to the seaside then? What do you like?
Well, we quite often go to Spain on holiday, and we like an ice cream. They don't so much for the fish and chips and newspaper there, but there's a little shop near the beach where we go, and they sell these kind of butterscotch croissant eclair-y type massive pastries full of cream.
Yeah.
And the kids get that. It'd be 35 degrees. And I say, are you sure you want one of those massive creamy things in a bag? Yes. Yes, because I've been having them since I was 2. And they can't see the sea without having one of those.
Oh, no, but for us it was all about sort of fish and chips, wasn't it, and stuff like that.
Fish and chips. And ice cream would be sliced off a block and put between 2 wafers.
Yeah.
And it would be a sandwich.
Oh, I do remember. the ice cream man used to come round and do that, and you have nougat or something in the middle of them.
Well, you'd have to buy it in the shop, and then they'd wrap it in a piece of newspaper, and then you had to get it home quick and eat it, because you didn't have a freezer.
Oh, well.
Make it sound like I grew up in the 1890s. I remember when ice cream was first invented.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to be doing for you. I'm going to be making some really lovely fish cakes, crispy fish cakes.
Nice.
And I'm going to be serving that with a garden pea crush and some sweet potato wedges. And I'm going to serve it right sort of in the style of you being by the seaside. That would be quite nice, wouldn't it, eh?
Yeah.
For that, you're going to start off with some potatoes. Now, I've just parboiled my potatoes, and the secret of when you're making a bit of mash to go into your fish cakes, or you just want a bit of normal mash, is to allow it to steam, allow it to sit in the pot a little bit after you've cooked them. You know, you drain them a colander, and then put them in and just let them steam. I've got some sustainable fish that I've just poached off. You can bake it, you can poach it, and all I'm doing is kind of breaking it up just a little bit, not too much, don't blitz it down too much. I've got some chopped parsley. Have you noticed that's roughly chopped parsley? When you're making a dish like this, you want it to be a little bit sort of rustic, a little bit kind of like, you know, it's homemade. Don't get too sort of fancy. But then we've got some spring onions going in there, so it's parsley, spring onions. I do have a bit of mayonnaise that I like to drop in there. A touch of lemon zest. Ah, lovely. Just put that in there. What do you prefer to do these days then, Al? Are you... Do you prefer the stand-up or do you prefer the...
I miss doing the stand-up, I must say. But yeah, I like to be with a bunch of other people sometimes. So it's quite nice. When I started in comedy, as you remember well, we used to do gigs together back in the day.
Yes.
A lot of those people that we used to see are still kicking around and will come to a studio to muck about in the studio.
Well, that's what you're doing here, isn't it?
For a couple of hours. They will, and it's nice to see some of those old friends. I quite like that. I haven't quite got the appetite for the 12-hour days on the film sets, but I say that safe in the knowledge that I won't be offered any parts.
I know, exactly. It's just working, isn't it? It's getting out there and
not
doing
like Tom Hanks is ringing saying, we really need you for this.
Thomas! Oh, lovely. Now, in here, you saw I put a little bit of cayenne in there along with that lemon zest.
Quite a lot of cayenne went in there.
Honestly, but this makes 4 big fish cakes, so it's literally just a sort of pinch in there.
Will that heat it up a bit?
Add a little bit of a kick to it. Add a little bit of a kick, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper.
Oh, I like that action.
Can't help it, you know.
If you didn't have the left arm out, would you fall down?
I don't.
You would fall down.
I feel like
go
Dr.
over.
Strangelove. Oh, lovely. Oh, wonderful. There you go. Right, we've got that going in there now. Now, your pan.
Yeah.
I'm just going to heat that up.
Good idea.
And there we are. And over here, I'm going to make a lovely chili pea crush. And into here, so far, what I've got in there is a little bit of spring onion and some chili that I've cooked off. And what I'm going to do here, Al, is I'm just going to use my hands here to take that out like that. And you just shape it up, yeah? There you go.
Are you going to put anything on it? Are you going to breadcrumb it up?
Yeah, look, I've got it here.
Oh, yeah,
So I'm going to take
see,
another one of those, roughly about the same size. You can control what size you want. For instance, if you want slightly smaller ones for the kids.
Why do you make them fat? Would they just turn out like fritters if they were
Yeah,
too
but everything's
thin?
cooked in there, so really all you're going to do is kind of get those on. Your palette knife's really good to give it that absolute lovely shape. Can you see that? I'm kind of working that round like that, giving that a little bit of squeeze. There you go, same there. And then there goes flour, egg, give it a good old toss in there.
Just plain flour?
Plain flour with a little bit of seasoned plain flour. There you go, into your egg, yeah?
Yeah.
So your egg's in there. Yeah. I'm going to use my palette knife to help turn it over now. That's it, give that a bit of a roll around. And then we're going to put that into my panko crumbs. All right?
OK.
That's it. And a little bit of that going on the top.
What on earth is panko?
Panko. Panko is... Yeah, exactly.
That sounds like an anagram or something made up.
I know. Panko's actually like dried out breadcrumbs. Really dried and crispy, so it gives the fish cakes a real sort of crunchiness to it. Now you can see, Al, I'm just rolling these around. You give them a really good old thing. Back on the board there, shaping those up. What about you, Al? You're asking me all these questions. Do you get out in the kitchen, do a bit of cooking?
like to cook things, but I tend to make it up. I'm usually, for many, many years, I was just cooking for one.
Yeah.
And so I'd get everything out of the fridge and put it in one pan and keep my fingers crossed. And I will eat that, but the kids won't eat that. So I've had to learn to read a recipe off of a tablet computer. It's changed my life. I've got one of these little wooden things with a slot. Yeah. And I pop it in there, and there's a million recipes on the internet. Fantastic. Some of them by Ainsley Harriott.
Yeah, but of course.
Look out, he's going to fall.
Oh, I love a bit of that. We've got the spring onions and the chilli in there. I've got the peas going in here. This is my garden pea crush. Quite a few peas are going in there, Al.
That's a lot of peas.
I know, but it's the, normally this is for about sort of, I do 4 fish cakes. Look how much mixture I've got there. All right, then. That's kind of starting to brown up quite nicely there now. I might have to turn that over in a second. And that's that. Just a sprinkling of sugar going in there.
Sugar?
Yeah, a little bit of sugar to sweeten it up. Whoa. OK, this is all for the garden pea crush. Yeah. Again, touch of butter, not too much. And this is some stock, a little bit of veggie stock there going in. OK, and under there, I'm just going to turn that over. Oh. There's my fish cake. Oh, yeah. I've got to make sure that that's it. Keep that so that's going to cook nicely. That's beautiful. So let those cook away. Now, what's next, Al? Are you going to start touring again? What are you looking forward to doing?
I imagine every comedian, an actor, a singer, a musician will be gasping to do shows, and every venue will be full, and I can't really wait for it. I certainly know there are plenty of people who want to put shows on, and want to perform and want to see an audience again, because it's great, apart from anything else, everyone's skin.
Well, this is it. Just putting a bit of chopped mint in there, Al. A little bit of chopped mint.
I would never disagree.
All right, then. Should we finish it off a little bit of lemon? There you go. There we are. A little bit of lemon going in there, too. Have the kids showed any interest in cooking, Al?
Oh, my daughter does.
She's 11, isn't she? She really is on it.
She's a baker. She's made brioche and lemon meringue pie.
Oh, that's lovely.
I keep saying to her, make a rock cake. Go on, make a rock cake.
Yeah.
Make a rock cake, like my granny used to make.
Love
I don't know
all
where
that
she
stuff.
doesn't get it from me, ain't it?
Love all that stuff. Hey.
But the boys, no. They
Beautiful.
already...
Got some more ones here. Look at this, Al.
Hang on a minute. Are we expecting people?
Look at these. Stay there. That's it. Oh, beautiful fish cakes. I'll just keep that in the oven there to keep those a little bit warm. I'm going to drain these off. And then I'm going to finish that off beautiful. There we are. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Now, you can see what I'm doing here, Al. I'm just
You're ruining perfectly good peas. That's what
no, this is it. You see, this is what I like, the garden pea crush. There you go. So it's kind of almost like a mushy pea look, but still with a bit of a bite.
Nice.
All right?
Nice.
So I've got this here. So this is my pea crush here. Lovely. That's it. Don't need to crush it too much. You can keep it quite coarse, so it looks really lovely. And a little bit of chilli going in there. And then, here we are. Look, I've got some sweet potato wedges here.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, sweet potato wedges. That's going to...
Do you put anything on those, or do you just...
Yeah, what I do is I cut it into wedges, and then I put some salt and pepper on it, Al, toss it in a bowl, and then after that, I put it straight onto a tray here and put them into the oven. So you've got loads of lovely wedges that are so simple, and they cook so quickly, sweet potatoes. Couple of fish cakes there on the side for you, sir.
Nice.
Yeah. OK, and there we have it. 1 crispy fish cakes with garden pea crush and sweet potato wedges for Davies to go away.
That's me. Yes, please.
Hello, mate. How are you?
Thank you
All right,
very
thanks
much.
for coming. Come again.
I will do.
Well, Olly Smith is in his local, so let's see what wines he has today.
Oh, Waynes, I do love to be beside the seaside. And if you think about the atmosphere at the beach, it's all about the breeziness, the informality, the relaxation, maybe even a bracing dip. And I've got 3 excellent glasses that will just fill you with that same sense of bracing invigoration. So first off, I've got a non-booze option, and I love this. It's cracking value for money. It's called Fizzero, but I quite like calling it Fizzaroo, and it is actually a blend of grape juice and green tea with a bit of bubbles to it, so you don't need to worry about the alcohol, because actually in this drink, it doesn't feel like there's anything missing. Beautiful bubbles, lovely fruity flavour. Let's give it a whirl. Oh, that's got my taste buds kite surfing. I love that. Full of invigoration. Brilliant if you're having anything like shellfish by the seaside. Those crisp bubbles actually work a charm with fish and chips. The next one I have, rosé. Now, if you're anything like me, as soon as the summer kicks in, I just reach for the rosé. This one's called M. Diminity, and the reason I've chosen it, it's partly the way they make the wine, the care that goes into it. It's actually what they call a cru classé estate, which basically means top-notch. So we're in the south of France here, in Provence, and it's their speciality to create wines like this. And if you think of that climate, down by the beach in Provence, all of that wonderful food, things like salad niçoise, drizzled in olive oil, loads of garlic, those are the flavours that go so beautifully with this light, bright, fresh rosé. Oh, Waynes, it's an absolute stonker. So if you're by the seaside and you've got your best frock on, that's what you want in your glass. And finally, I have an amazing award-winning white wine from beside the seaside in Spain. Meet Paco and Lola Albarino. Now, Albarino is the grape variety, and the place this comes from is Galicia, and that's on the northwestern side of Spain. It's green, you get all that wonderful Atlantic freshness, and when you taste the wine, you get a lot of that in the flavour of it. This is a modern winery. They really know what they're doing, and they're trying to take Albarino into the next level. Cheers, Ains. Here's to surfing waves of glory all the way to Happy Island. Ooh. Oh, with that wine, I'm already there.
Well, I'm sure you are there, Olly. Thanks so much for that. What a beautiful presentation, and coming out with this Fizzero. Al, what do you think?
That's very nice, thanks.
It's
I like that a lot, yeah.
Isn't that nice?
Just a little prickle, a little tingle on the nose there. A little bit of tingle on the nose.
Little sparkle. I love that. He's a master, isn't he?
I think you could go for a taste challenge with that one.
Very nice indeed. Thanks for that, Olly. I'm sure he's given you some fantastic tips. Get out there and try it, you know, and if you're having a dry period or you just you don't like alcohol, this is really, really lovely. It makes you feel kind of quite sociable. But it wouldn't be lovely without my fish cake. My seaside fish cakes, Al.
Can I go for it now?
Yeah, you certainly can.
Mmm.
No?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? You like that?
Oh, it's lovely, Ain.
I think it's great, and reminds me a bit of my childhood when I used to get the old chippy and stop off there and pick up a fish cake. And hey, if you're down by the seaside, why not? Go and get yourself a fish cake and some beautiful garden pea crush on the side.
Nice.
So glad you're enjoying it, Al. And more importantly, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank
you.
you.
Looking forward to your summer?
Yeah, very much so, yeah. I'll be down the seaside.
Oh, fantastic. I think we should get stuck in. You enjoying that, Al?
I love what you've done with these peas.
Isn't it amazing?
That chili's really working for me.
Sound like Private Godfrey in Dad's Army.
Spicing up Davis's life. Now, today we've taken inspiration from days beside the seaside, but no trip to the beach is complete without some ice cream. So my final recipe today is homemade honeycomb ice cream sundae with butterscotch sauce. Start off with, you want to make up your honeycomb. People think, oh, it's the last thing I want to do. It's quite simple, actually. It takes a little bit of discipline, a little bit of care, but the results, fantastic. Take your sugar and put that into a saucepan. Fairly deep saucepan, because it kind of foams up a little bit. We also have got here some golden syrup. All right, I'll put my heat on now. This is really just about making something that's going to give your sundae that extra special kind of wow. Just leave that on the stove until you get that lovely golden colour. But what about the butterscotch sauce? Once again, we're going down that sugary route, but this time we've got some brown sugar here and I've got some butter. Again, those two into our saucepan. Don't forget that once you have made these sauces, because they're sweet and they're lovely and you can drizzle them on ice cream, loads of different things, bits of cake and what have you, you can put them into a jar, you can put them to one side, they're going to keep. It's not going to go off, all right? And the butter goes in there too. And the cream. All right, and that is your butterscotch sauce. Lovely. But you're going to allow that to bubble down so that all sort of blends together quite beautifully. Then we can finish that off with a little bit of salt and a touch of vanilla extract. All right, now this is coming together. Look at that, that's it. Starting to brown at the edge there ever so slightly. All right then, just wait until all of that dissolves. You got any lovely memories of going to the seaside? I loved it. I remember actually going down to Margate with the family when I was a very, very young boy. My first time going to a British seaside, and it was genuinely exciting because they had a fun fair there, and of course all kids, we love a fun fair, don't we? And you go there and it was just so exciting. There was the bumper cars, there was I think it was the Big Dipper, there was the waltzer that you go round, and the guys looked so cool. They all looked like Elvis that used to spin it, and they'd hit the side of the car and it would spin round like that, and it would be up and down. They just looked so cool. Hey, check this out, guys. I've taken that off. You can see that now, look at that. That caramel is looking really, really good. And watch what I do here now. Look at this. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. Can you see it? That is how you make honeycomb. There it is, bubbling up, boiling up there. Absolutely beautiful, getting bigger and bigger. Hence why you need a slightly deep pot. Look what I've got here. I've got a baking tray that I've lined with parchment paper there, okay? Look at that. Don't you dare move anymore. And we're just going to pour that into our pan there. That's it, lovely. And we're just going to let that nestle down there a little bit. And look at that. That's your honeycomb there. And when that cools down, then we'll be able to chop it up, chunk it up, and put that into our sundae. Now, what about that caramel? That's also boiling away here. There's our butterscotch sauce. Lovely. Now, if you're going to be doing this at home, please, just take your time, all right? There's no need to swirl it around like that because this is really, really hot. Sugar can burn really, really badly. So use a whisk. Just stir that around there a little bit like that. Okay, and that, if I get a little spoon and show you, is our rather delicious butterscotch sauce. Have a look at this, can you see that? Just going to blend that cream in a little bit more. There it is, look at that. Really, really lovely. I've got one that I've chilled down because you don't want to put piping hot butterscotch sauce on top of your ice cream. Why is that then, Ains? You just melt away. You'd have a milkshake before you know it. Okay, and then we can add a little bit of salt. There it is, look, good pinch of salt going into our butterscotch sauce. Like a salty butterscotch caramel. Eh? How do they do that? That's how they do that. And a little bit of vanilla extract too. That's it. I'm just going to give that another little beat. making sure that's well combined together. That's perfect. Okay. And that is your butterscotch sauce. Here, look, I can do that. There's the one that's cooled down. If I just add a little bit of that, you can see, look at the consistency of that. Really, really lovely. I'm not going to put too much of that in now. Ha-ha, that's lovely. OK, let's move on and let's make those sundaes. Well, let's get hold of that old honeycomb. And that's what happens. Can you see? That's cooled down now. Look at that. Can you hear that? Let's take that out the tray. And look at this. There's our honeycomb. Look at that, yeah? And I've got some nuts too here. And look what I've got. I've got some macadamia nuts. I'm going to chop a few of those up. OK, we'll go back to those in a minute. I've got some pecan nuts too. That's lovely. All right, let's get my knife. Just blitz that very, very gently. OK, and some chocolate. I've just got some buttons there. I'm just chopping those up too. Everything a bit sort of slightly rustic. Chop up a bit of honeycomb, eh? There it is, look at that. Oh, lovely, that crunch. Look at that. Oh, lovely. Oh. It's like a crunch, you know, that. So get a little bit sticky in your mouth. We love a bit of that. And then we can start to build our sundaes. Now, oh, here we go. I'm going to start here and go across. So start off with just a touch of butterscotch sauce there. Here we go again. OK, just a little bit of that there. I'm going to hit that with a little bit of Mackie Chocky Peaky. There you go, little Mackie Chocky Peaky. In the bottom of your glass. Then a little bit of honeycomb. That will make that toffee taste last. Oh, yeah. Just load up your sundaes, 'cause it's gonna taste so nice with all these wonderful, sweet tasting beachy delights ice cream. Oh, yeah. Be-doo-be-doo-doo-doo. Be-doo-be-doo-doo-doo-doo. Be-doo-be-doo-doo-doo. Yeah, I got some hot water boiling too, so I can get my scoop in there just for you. Be-doo-be-doo-doo-dee. Yeah, yeah. Be-doo-be-doo-doo-dee-da. Yeah, yeah. Dooby-dooby-dooby. Yeah, yeah. Dooby-dooby-da. Scoop it in, and don't it taste nice? Yes, Ainsley, it's the perfect honeycomb chocolate sundae. Delight. Get on with it, Ains. There we are. Can't help it. You always get me singing and stuff like that. Bit more chalky. That's it. Fling that up. A little bit more chalky. That's it. A little bit more of that sauce. We're going to get these so it's really sticking over the top, all right, then, before we finish up with the sauce. So it really should stick out the sundaes, because that's what makes it look so spectacular. OK, now this, when you get to this stage, you really want to kind of make sure you get a really lovely, lovely scoopy bit, because that's the bit that's going to just kind of stick out a little bit on the top. OK, that's what's going to make it a little bit more special. There we are. Once again, using up all those lovely little bits and pieces. There we are. Now, ain't finished yet. A little bit of that sauce going on the top there now. There you go. Look at that, beautiful. You can just see that cascading down the edge there. Ooh. I'm going to finish that off with a dusting of honeycomb dust. There we are, a little honeycomb dust there, just to kind of complete the whole thing. Here we are. A bit more of that honeycomb dust. That's it. No more than that. 3 ice cream sundaes to go. There we have it, my homemade honeycomb ice cream sundae with butterscotch sauce. Wow! Today's recipes have been absolutely amazing. All the flavours and taste of the seaside. I bet you wish you were here. A Caribbean classic, butternut and chickpea roti with spicy yoghurt sauce, Candice's toffee apple-filled doughnuts, crispy fish cakes, and my honeycomb ice cream sundae. Hope you've enjoyed our day beside the seaside. See you next time.